Hello friends, Lava here. I am excited. This is my first video under my new branding, Body by Lava. So if you don't know who I am, I'm Levana Loma. I'm a personal trainer and nutrition coach. I am a roller derby athlete for the past 8 years. I'm a roller derby blocker, Lava number 26. I currently play for the Arizona Roller Girls. I used to play back on Kauai for Garden Island Renegade Rollers until I moved to Arizona a couple years ago. This is actually my third year I'm working on out here and started my personal training business out here. So recently I have advanced my skills to become a corrective exercise specialist. So I'm relaunching my business as Body by Lava with a focus on corrective exercise, helping people improve their mobility and really focusing on functional movement and injury prevention or recovery from injury. And so today, this video is going to actually be very helpful if you are dealing with hip pain, lower back pain. This could be actually caused by an instability in your hip, especially if you know that your core musculature is actually pretty strong. You work your core, you work your glutes, but you're still experiencing pain in your lower back, your upper butt, then you may have an issue with stability at the hip. So what could potentially be happening is that you may have an anterior femoral glide. And this is where the femur, the bone, the hip, the leg bone, where it attaches and enters into the hip there, it may be pushing forward and moving out of place from where it actually should be within the hip socket. And if that happens, then you're definitely going to have issues because your hip is going to become unstable. It's going to cause those deep internal rotators in your glutes to be overactive. It's going to cause your hamstring to be overactive because the hamstring is a stabilizer muscle, and that can lead to lower back pain and pain right in your glutes. If you feel like in the middle of your workouts you have to stop and do foam rolling because everything is tightening up back there, there's a very good chance this could be a problem. And I'm going to show you how to determine if that is the case, and if so, some exercises you can do right at home to help correct this. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do is go down onto the floor in a prone position, laying flat on your stomach. And then from here, you're going to take your hands and you're going to tuck them in right in that spot where the femur connects to the hip socket. Put your fingers right in that spot so that you can feel that femur bone as you go through this movement. And you're going to start on one side and you're just going to lift up your leg in the back as high as you can. You're going to be looking to feel if the femur is actually pushing on your fingers. As you push your leg up, as you extend your leg back behind you, you will notice pressure on your fingers from that part of your femur moving forward in the hip socket. So you're going to do it on one side and then you're going to do it on the other so that you can compare and see if the side where you're having the back pain, you might possibly have that hip bone pushing forward. You'll be able to tell, especially if you do both sides, you'll notice one side is going to significantly feel like it's pushing more into your fingers and into the floor. So it's going to just look like this. I'm going to do my right side first, which I have much more range of motion. So as I'm moving my leg up, there's a lot of space here. There's a lot of space here between the floor and my hip, which is totally normal. However, I am actually currently dealing with this anterior femoral glide, so I've had to learn a lot about it. On the other side, when I do lift my leg up, you can see that there's no space there. That femur is pushing down into my fingers, and there's no space between this part of my hip and the floor, which means that the femur is in fact pushing forward and gliding forward in the hip socket, and that is creating instability in my hip, which has led to that back pain, that upper butt pain, which is actually gluteal tendinopathy, and instability at the hip, which is causing overactiveness of my hamstring. So if you are feeling tightness in your hamstring, tightness in your glute medius, and general lower back pain, you might want to try this home test for yourself. And if you also are noticing that there seems to be an anterior femoral glide happening, then here's what you can do to correct it. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to test to see if your glutes are actually, your glute on that side is firing correctly. And you're going to do that with a single leg glute bridge. So you're going to lay on your back and you're going to bend the leg where you're having the trouble with your back pain. You're going to bend that leg and then you're going to extend the other leg out, parallel, have your thighs parallel. And then you're going to just lift up until you feel a squeeze. Now, you should be feeling it in your glutes at the top of this movement. That's where you want to feel it, is right in the glute. It should be firing. If it's not, if you feel it more in your quads or in your hamstrings, then that means your glute on that side is not firing, and that could potentially be part of the problem. You'll need to work on really activating the glutes, which, of course, continuing to do the single leg bridges with a mind muscle connection to the glute and really trying to squeeze that glute and get it to activate. That is your first step. Now you're going to just get yourself a chair. You're going to come to the edge of the chair like this and put your feet up on the chair, about like so, with your ankles right at the edge of the chair there. 90-degree angle for your legs. This is going to be you learning how to really engage and activate the hamstrings, because we also want to make sure that your hamstrings are engaging properly in order to help stabilize your hip so that it doesn't shift out of place and doesn't cause those deep internal rotators in your hip to get all seized up. So you're just going to practice lifting with your hamstrings. So you're not squeezing your butt. You're just lifting up with the back of your legs. You're actually just using your hamstrings to lift up and squeeze and just feeling those hamstrings. This positioning is going to really isolate and help you be able to move just the hamstrings. And you're going to go for 3 sets of 10 on each of these exercises. When you do the glute bridge, the single leg glute bridge, you want to go 10 reps 3 times, and then 10 contractions of the hamstrings, lifting up with the back of the legs, the muscles in the back of the legs. You shouldn't be really squeezing you don't want to be clenching your butt cheeks. You're really trying to actually just get the movement to come all from the hamstrings, just pulling up with those hamstrings. Okay, and then the final 2 exercises are going to be done using a resistance band, either heavy to medium will do, and you're going to just attach it anywhere that is about thigh level. That's going to be sturdy. If you have a column or a pillar or a heavy desk or something like that, you're just going to tie it around, and this is going to help force that femur bone back in the hip socket. It's going to also retrain your brain to let those deep internal hip rotators release and feel safe again, and retrain your entire hip to be more stable and to keep that femur bone in the hip socket. So this is a really important part of the process. What you're going to do is you're going to just step in on the affected side and bring this back up, and the band is going to go right in that area where the femur connects to the hip socket, so right in your groin. You're going to step out until you have some pressure there. This is going to actually push that femur bone right back in the socket where it should be. Kind of lean into it and really feel that bone go back in the hip socket. Bend slightly forward. this leg forward, this leg back, and then you're going to lean forward, and you're actually going to just straighten and release your leg and go through a full range of motion just like this, back and forth. And this is going to just help actually physically move your femur back in the hip socket. And we're going to do 3 sets of 10 just back and forth. This is kind of stretching that hip capsule and warming everything up. So 3 sets of 10 just like this, forward and back, full range of motion, leg forward and then all the way back. This is going to be a nice stretch for the hamstring too. And just try to touch the floor or get as low as you can, whatever's comfortable. And we'll do 3 sets of 10 like that. Next, what we're going to do is we are going to step forward again and apply pressure to help push that femur back in the hip socket where it should be. And then this back leg, you're just going to go up on your toes for support. It's just going to be kind of like a kickstand. You're going to bend into it. You bend your knees, put all your weight on the affected side, and keeping your knees in line and your knees over your second and third toe throughout the movement in the front here. You're going to actually rotate your hips, and you're going to move from one direction completely while keeping your legs in line with each other. This is really important. You don't want your knee going out like this as you turn. You want to keep them parallel. And you're going to go for a count of 10. You're going to go all the way this direction and then all the way back in the other direction, kind of dropping this hip in order to get that full rotation, keeping those knees parallel. And that's going to be 1. And then you're going to go all the way back to the other side. Again, remember, we don't want to have our legs go out to the side. We want to keep these legs in line with each other throughout the whole movement. It's all hip rotation. And that's going to be 2. Dropping a little bit on this side so that you can get that hip hiked up a bit on this side. So you get that full rotation. We're teaching those deep internal rotators that they can unlock and that there will be stability and that they don't have to cramp up anymore. So this is a very important part of the whole process. And we're going to go for 3 sets of 10. So I would recommend taking a break from any heavy lifting, intense activity that you're used to doing for at least a couple of weeks and doing this routine instead. Doing this at least 4 times a week, if not every day, if possible, until you start to feel better, until you start to see some improvements after a couple of weeks. And then you can start to add in some single leg exercises with lighter weight for a couple more weeks before you get back to your usual routine. And hopefully that will help fix the problem. And if not, reach out to me because I'm here for you. We'll pinpoint exactly what's going on and help fix it, no matter what your issue might be. I have worked with quite a variety of different people, from the top elite athletes in roller derby to the obese or even the elderly with Parkinsonism. So I do have some experience already working with people that are dealing with issues and pain and injury recovery from injury or surgeries too. So get in touch with me and we will figure out a program to get you moving free again. All right, guys. Well, if you enjoyed this, please give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe and share this video if it is helpful to someone that you know that's dealing with pain. And I will see you in the next video.